any sporting event, from bowling to one-on-one basketball to swimming. Just send us a postcard challenge to News 9 Sports Challenge, Box 9999, Steubenville, Ohio, 43952. Then join us every Thursday at 6 for the Bill Phillips News 9 Sports Challenge, brought to you by Ohio Valley Hospital.
Well, Bill Phillips might be good, but I don't think he could have beaten Magic Johnson today. He was the story.
That's true. And a tremendous ending to a fairy tale story that actually might not be over yet, Chris. It was almost too good to be true today. After all, only the hopeless romantic could believe that Magic Johnson, playing at what might have been the ultimate farewell performance and competing not only to define his legacy, but also for those who suffer from a deadly disease, would not only help his team win, but be named the game's MVP. But when you consider that this NBA All-Star game was played in Orlando, where dreams really do come true, it is a little easier to accept the magic that was present this afternoon as Irvin Johnson played in what will probably be his final NBA contest, and he made the most of it. He hit 6 of his first 7 shots, ended up with 25 points, 9 assists, and was named the game's most valuable player in a fairy tale ending. As for Michael Jordan, he had 18 points, and as usual, they were nice to look at. Here's 2 of them, and here's 2 more. Michael Jordan, the game's greatest player, Dikembe Mutombo. 4 years ago, this guy was playing intramural basketball at Georgetown. Today, NBA All-Star game, and he's dunking. But the story, no doubt about it, Magic Johnson, hitting 3 consecutive three-pointers at the end of the game, finishing with 25 points, the MVP. The final score, the West wins 153 to 113. Afterwards, the MVP, Magic, talked about maybe having played his rivals for the very last time.
If this is going to be it for me, I wanted to go out this way. I wanted to get Isaiah one time, get Michael one time, and the only person that was missing was Larry, and I wanted him one more time. But I see Larry on the blacktop. You know, we'll go behind his house, and we'll hook up one more time.
Turning now to college basketball, where we begin our tour through the NCAA hoop world in the Big Ten, where the Indiana Hoosiers were trying to pull even with the Ohio State Buckeyes atop the conference standings by beating the Iowa Hawkeyes, and that's exactly what they did here. Indiana will get the steal. Greg Graham is going to take it all the way in, and Indiana was opening up an 11-point lead in the second half, and then they'll put it away when Damon Bailey will get the steal. He'll throw it ahead to Allen Henderson, goes in for the dunk. The Hoosiers go to 8-1 in the Big Ten with an 81-66 victory. Now, another Big Ten team in the top 20, Michigan. The Wolverines were in South Bend to play the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame. That's LaFonso Ellis on the follow-up jam, but that was not enough today because Michigan in the Fab Five, Chris Webber off the alley-oop jam, and we'll take a look at another one here as Webber will slam it again. Michigan pulling away down the stretch. They beat Notre Dame 74-65. Elsewhere, former Brook High star Matt Gaudio and the Penn State Nittany Lions were in Hershey, PA to face old Atlantic 10 rival Temple. Score tied. Final seconds, Penn State goes to Gaudio. A chance to win it, but unfortunately it was not to be for Matt. And they went to overtime where Gaudio would foul out of the game with 6 points. Now, at the end of the first overtime, the Nittany Lions had 2 more chances to win it, but Temple was able to hold on, force a second OT, where they would win this one 73-72. A great ending in the ACC as Georgia Tech and Maryland were tied at the end of regulation. They have the ball. Georgia Tech does out of bounds. 0.2 seconds left. The last shot at the buzzer is good by James Forrest, and Georgia Tech holds off the upset, beating Maryland 67-65. Let's take a look at those scores for those of you who were not paying attention. Indiana beat Iowa 81-66. Michigan over Notre Dame by 9. Temple beat Penn State in double overtime by 1. Georgia Tech by 2 over Maryland. Other games, Arizona by 12 over California. Missouri beat 21-ranked Oklahoma 99-92, and UNLV tonight beat Long Beach State 96-77. The best and the brightest in Ohio Valley High School football gathered in Wellsburg today as the coaches of football held their 11th annual All-Conference Awards Banquet, which honored all the first-team OVAC selections in 4 classifications. And all students from 45 different schools received awards. Division-winning coaches were also recognized, and there were numerous special honors as well. Brook head coach Bud Billiard talked more about the event.
this all-star team does really not get the press that the other ones do. And, I mean, that's just because of the nature of the animal. So the special or unique thing about this, that every kid that's been nominated to this team in all 4 divisions do come together on a certain day to be honored by, you know, the coaches.
In hockey, it's a good thing that the NHL's regular season doesn't mean very much because the Pittsburgh Penguins still have time to turn things around before the playoffs and defend their Stanley Cup championship. But they better be careful. It now appears that their focus should be on holding on to the final playoff spot in the Patrick because they have no chance of catching the Rangers. Today, the struggling Pens were in Boston to play the Bruins. The score was tied at 1 at the end of the first period. Troy Looney scores on the backhand wraparound for the Pens, and it was 2-1 Pittsburgh in the second period. Joey Mullen score on the doorstep. That was a 3-2 Penguins lead. Looked like they were going to break their losing streak, but not to be. Peter Doris will put the Bruins up for good in this one, 4-3. They went on to win this game from there, 6-3. Boston over Pittsburgh. The Pens now just 9 points ahead of the 5th place Islanders. Vladimir Ruiska had 4 goals, I think that's how you say his name, for the Boston Bruins. Today was the first full day of the Winter Olympic Games, and since hockey is one of the few winter sports that Americans fully understand, and because of the 1980 miracle at Lake Placid, the USA hockey team gets much of the attention. Their first test, Italy, was not expected to be too difficult, but it didn't turn out that way because Italy led 3-2 in the third before the USA exploded. It began with Clark Donatelli scoring to tie the game at 3 there. Then the USA won it when Steve Hines scored to make it 4-3. The good guys, they scored 2 more goals later to ice the win and get their first victory of the Olympic Games. The final score, 6-3. Former Penn Mo Manta scored the first goal for the USA in that 6-3 victory. Chris Horn and Liz Habib. A couple other notes. Michael Chang wins the tennis tournament over Jim Courier in San Francisco, and John Cook wins his second PGA event of the year, winning the Hawaiian Open. I'd like to be there, if I could
Not
say
the Ohio Open, the Hawaiian Open. All right. Thanks, John.